Let us take a closer look at the Beatitudes. What are or what is the Beatitudes? In the Gospel of Matthew, during the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus proclaimed 8 blessings. These blessings are what we now call the Beatitudes. We're going to look at each of these blessings closely so we can understand exactly what Jesus was talking about. So the first one, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What does poor in spirit mean? It means those who are humble, humility. That is poor in spirit. There are some people who are extremely humble, and then the opposite of humility is pride. There are also some people who are equally proud. The proud will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. You have to be humble. It was a dig against the Pharisees because they were spiritually proud. They felt that they knew it all. Remember the prayer of that Pharisee who said, "Thank God I'm not like this sinner. I pay my tithes, I give alms, I pray every day." Pride. So Jesus is saying here that blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So to inherit heaven, you need to be humble. You need to pray. Ask God to break you so that you will be humble. You know, there was a case some time ago. This church founder, a big man, he was walking with his entourage, and a guy saw him. He was calling him Brother X, Brother X, Brother X. And the people in the entourage were shouting at him, "You're so rude. What's wrong with you? How dare you call him brother? How can you call him brother?" And this man of God said, "Am I not a man? So am I not a brother? Why can't he call me brother?" You know, they wanted him to use the title, Your Eminence, Your Excellency, Your Theology, and all that stuff. Humility. He said, "You can call me brother. I am a brother." You know, you be humble. There was also a case of a pastor that was invited to a church to preach. So when they were getting prepared to invite him onto the altar, the person was calling him all his titles. You know, today we have in our midst His Royal Highness, His Eminence, this and that, Right Reverend, Honorable. And when he got on the pulpit, the man was not happy that they left out one of his title. How dare they leave one out of it? They should use all. Did they not give them the memo before he came there? That is pride. That is not humility. And that will not take you anywhere. There was equally a brother, a Christian brother. He moved into this compound, and where the various people lived in their own rooms, but they had like shared facilities, some shared amenities like the kitchen, like the bathroom and stuff. And this brother, he just prays, he's singing, he's always joyful. And there was one of his neighbors, a woman who did not like him for reasons best known to her. So she tried to frustrate him. She did a lot of things. This brother would not rise to it. One day she saw the brother coming. He was dressed. He was going to work early in the morning. She splashed dirty water on him, pretending she did not see him. The brother said, that's fine. You're blessed. It's all right. It's a mistake. Accidents happen. He went back into his room and changed and went. You see, she could not get a rise out of him. That brother was humble. You know, he'd given his life to Christ, and now the humility is there. He did not fight. He did not rise to it. Eventually, he won that lady over. She began to attend his church, and she also gave her life to Christ. There was also a case of a pastor. They had a land. The church had a land, and beside the land, another church also had a land, and the other church started building first. But they took part of this church land and built their church on it. So members went there to fight with them. You have to tear this bit down. This is our boundary. You have to break this. And they were fighting and everything. And the founder of the church heard about it. And he came there. He said, what's the trouble? And his members said, see, they built on our land. this part here is part of our land. They built on the land. And their pastor said, but is it not a church they built? Is it not a church we also are going to build? Are we not preaching the same Jesus? Leave them. If they built on it, it's still to further the gospel. You see, he didn't fight. He didn't take them to court. Humility. So you need to be humble. So Jesus said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. My husband, I can say, he's a humble man. He's from Ghana. I'm Nigerian. He's very humble. He's very calm. Where he used to work some time ago, there was this supervisor, a young girl, and she was rude. She was very brash. She was rash. She spoke to people anyhow. I think she could not believe that she was in that position to be a supervisor because she was quite young. And she would just see my husband and shout, you didn't do this well, you didn't do that well. And my husband would just calmly say, thanks for pointing it out. I'll do it perfectly. And he'll go there and spend a lot of time and tidy up the place and just do it how she wanted it. She would come, she would see it. She can't see anything, she would go. The next day also she would come, here is this, here is this, here is this. Matthew, here is this. My husband would just calmly do it exceedingly. Eventually, he won her over. She could not say anything again. You know, she was trying to get a riser of him or God knows what. But my husband never rose to it. He was just like, okay, I'll do it. Thanks for pointing it out. Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't see that. I must have missed it. So later they became best of friends. And she said, no, Matthew, he's a different breed entirely. Be humble. Humility also does not mean you let people take advantage of you. That doesn't mean that you are humble. You don't roll over and let people use you as a doormat, that you are humble. When you have to speak out. If you're being abused, you have to speak out. If you are being treated unfairly, you have to speak out. You have rights. So that doesn't mean being humble. If you're being bullied at work by a manager, by a supervisor, by your colleagues, you speak out. There are platforms for that. There are ways. Every work has the ways that you can report abuse. That's not being humble. Don't let people take advantage of you. So this is the first beatitude. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The second beatitude is, blessed are the meek, for they shall possess the land. What does it mean to be meek, to be patient, to be long-suffering, to be gentle, to be kind, to be mild, to be modest? This is to be meek. Jesus even said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. Is there also in the book of Matthew. And remember, when he was reviled, he did not revile again. He just kept quiet. He did not insult. He did not threaten. This is to be meek. So Jesus says, blessed are the meek, for they shall possess the land. Some people are very meek. They're very mild. They are long suffering. They are patient. My dad was like that. Very gentle man. My mom was the opposite, and dad was quiet. That was how they were able to live. But when you push and push and push a gentle person, it will get to a stage they will flip, and that's exactly what happened. It got to a stage that was fed up. So you can't push and push. If you have a partner who is gentle, who just keeps quiet, takes stuff, doesn't talk, don't take advantage, one day you'll be shocked. You'll be amazed about what they will do. These gentle people, the day they flip, you'll be like, whoa, where did this come from? It's because it's been boiling and boiling and boiling, and it's like an elastic. But don't be like that. Jesus said, blessed are the meek, for they shall possess the land. Be gentle, be kind, be nice to people. So just lower yourself. The Bible says that though he was God, he did not think of this equality with God as something to cling to. He lowered himself even to the point of death on the cross. So be meek, be gentle, be kind, be patient, be long-suffering, and you shall possess the land. And that's the second beatitude. Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. The Amplified Version says, blessed, that's forgiven, refreshed by God's grace, are those who mourn over their sins and repent, for they will be comforted when the burden of sin is lifted. So blessed are they who mourn. You mourn for your own sins and for the sins of others. You see an injustice and you mourn. It goes deep into your soul. You see debauchery, you see orgies, you see all these sexual sins, and it doesn't lift you up. It brings you down. You mourn within yourself. God, why? You see, like John Hyde, he said, give me souls, oh God, or I die. You see, those our founding fathers, they were like all sold out for revival. They see sin and they weep, they shed tears. They're in the church when they're preaching to people. They're shedding tears. The people listening are shedding tears because of their sins and the sins of others, the sins of the world. Nowadays, pastors preach, people jump up from their seats. Rema, preach. You know, it doesn't touch the heart. It's all just comforting. It's all just uplifting. You will prosper. Rema. You know, you will be the top. Rema. They don't preach about sin. You know, you should see sin out there and it should touch you to the core. You should mourn and say, God, you know, do something. Jesus, we need a revival. People were going out those days on horseback. Some would walk miles just to go and preach to people. Tell people to repent of their sins, turn around. Jesus is coming soon. You know, hellfire is real. Judgment is coming. They were touched on these things. Jesus says, they shall be comforted. You see, even Jesus himself, he looked at Jerusalem and he wept. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you kill all the prophets. You know, why you missed the day of your visitation? He was touched to his soul. You know, that's how we should feel as Christians. You see somebody going astray, even when you are preaching Christ to them, you are sobbing, deep, rasping sobs from the bottom of your heart, because you just know that this person is lost, and if they don't repent, they're going to hell. You know, this is what it means. You mourn for your own sins. Lord, forgive me. You know, the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. You commit a sin, you are sorrowful, you are sad, not because you got caught, but because you know that, Lord, help me, help my weakness. You know, you go on your knees, you cry, you are praying for people, you are crying, you intercede for the world. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are they who thirst and hunger after justice, for they shall have their fill. So that's another beatitude, another blessing that Jesus proclaimed on the Sermon of the Mount. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after justice. And you remember in Amos, it says, let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Amos 5. You know, so God wants us to choose. Don't look away from an injustice. If it's in your power to help, you help. If not, you can blow the whistle. Don't look away from an injustice. Some people don't say anything. If you don't say anything, you're complicit to that behavior, to that attitude. You agree with it without actually saying you agree with it. You should not look away. There was a case some years ago where the police arrested a young lad. They accused him of stabbing another boy to death, and he was arrested. He was in custody, case closed. But there was another boy who knew exactly who stabbed that boy, and he could not relax, he could not rest, he could not let an innocent boy be sent to prison. So he went to the police and told them, this is the person that stabbed not the guy that you have. When they did the investigation, they found that it was true. They released that guy and arrested the other one. But the boy who blew the whistle paid a heavy price. The boys of the one now in jail, they were threatening him. He had to move house. He had to move from his school. His family had to move. They had to go to a secure place. And he was asked, do you regret? He said, no, he doesn't. He could not stand back and watch an innocent person's life destroyed. And yet the guy who stabbed that boy was just walking around the streets and he was boasting that he's untouchable. He wasn't remorseful for what he did, and he was proud about it. And this guy said, nah, I'm not going to allow this injustice to take place. So he spoke out about it. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after justice. If you see an injustice, talk about it. A lot of the laws and rules we have nowadays, it started from somebody standing up and rising up and saying this is wrong, and then they brought in a law to protect. It could be against children, and somebody said no, this is wrong, don't treat children like this. You know, before, children were down in the mines, they worked all hours, they were not going to school and stuff. It took some people to stand up and speak out against it, that no, this is wrong. It could be against women. Women were not treated fairly before. We were treated like second-class, third-class citizens. It took people to stand up and say, no, this is unfair. Why should women be treated like this? Now in the UK, women have rights, where we are a protected species. Domestic violence, the man will be arrested. You know, so animals were being treated anyhow. Nowadays, you can't. If you kick a dog or you kick a cat in the UK, London, where I live, you'll be arrested, you know, for maltreating an animal. So don't look away from an injustice. If it's in your power to help, help. And if you cannot help, because maybe those people are mightier than you, you can report it. There are some anonymous forms where you can report it. And if they get so many, and it's mentioning the same person, they will investigate. They will say there has to be something in this. Why are all these reports about this same person being a bully? This same person victimizing others? They will investigate. So blessed are they that hunger and thirst after justice, for they shall have their fill. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. God is merciful. He gave us his only son. He did not withhold him back from us. That's mercy. God shows us mercy every day when we don't even deserve that mercy. You also need to be merciful. The merciful show compassion to the poor, the hungry, the homeless, the sick. Try to be merciful. It's not everything that you should be out to get somebody. No, this person has offended me. They have to pay for it. I'm going to do this. No. Sometimes show mercy. When they come to you and they apologize, accept the apology. Just show mercy. They don't deserve your forgiveness. But God forgave you. God forgave me. We don't deserve it either. But he did. So blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. If you water, you also will be watered. You know, give and it shall be given back to you. Be merciful. Show mercy to people, even if you think they don't deserve it. Just show them mercy, and you also shall obtain mercy. So as you do it to others, God also will do it back to you. If you don't show mercy to others, God will not show mercy to you. You know, there's no two ways about it. You remember that wicked servant that the master forgave his debt and he went out. He didn't show mercy to the one who was owing him less, and he put him in prison and said, you're not coming out until you pay me. When the master heard, he was disappointed. He said, I forgave you so much. Why couldn't you show mercy to your fellow servant? And ordered him to go to jail until he finished paying everything back. He will not be released. He will be there forever because it was a lot. He did not show mercy. So blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, the clean of heart, for they shall see God. Who are the pure in heart? You have to be childlike. You see a child, they are so pure. They don't bear grudges. They don't hold grudges. If a child does, there's something wrong. That's why they will quickly take them to go and see counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists. There's something wrong somewhere. Children, they are so pure. You do something bad to them, you call them, you say come, they just come, they hug you, you give them something to eat, they take it from you, they don't think adverse things. If two adults are fighting, one of them invites the other and makes a meal for them, you'll be thinking, has he poisoned this food? Why all of a sudden he's calling me for a meal after we just fought? We'll be thinking like, I'm not eating this food. A child doesn't think like that. They are so pure in heart. That's why Jesus said we have to be like children to enter the kingdom of heaven. You have to be childlike, pure in heart. Give your life to Christ, and if you do, He will change your heart. That stony heart, He will change it to a heart of flesh. You will have a pure heart because you are now reborn. You are born again, so you are now a child, a child of God, and you have a pure heart. Not everything you put in there. Some people don't have a pure heart. They are wicked to the core. They're the devil's assistant. Everything inside there is dark. So blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. There are some people who they are blessed as a conflict resolutioners. They resolve conflicts. Wherever there's conflict, you go to them. They will sit both parties down and they will not get up until it's sorted, until it's resolved. Those people are blessed. They are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. And there are also some people whose business it is to fan the flames. They pour fuel on the dying fire so it will blow up. I remember when I was having problems with a former pastor, and he would call a meeting and call some people, and he would say, Sister Tina did this. And there would be one woman, Sister Grace, she would say, okay, Pastor, forgive her. Whatever she's done, we're begging on her behalf. And I'd be like, I haven't done anything. And Sister Grace would say, yeah, just let's calm the situation down. Pastor, forgive her. And she will kneel down. And there was another woman in that meeting. No, Pastor should not forgive her. Pastor should not forgive her. Why should Pastor forgive her? And there was a brother there. Yeah, Sister Tina is like that. I always see her. That's exactly how she is. Fanning the flames. Fanning the flames. Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. Those two were not peacemakers at all. They made things worse. Each time they come to the meeting, I'm like, oh God, why did Pastor invite these two? Because they're not there to resolve anything. And then finally when the pastor, one day he said, Sister Tina is leaving this office today. That woman jumped up. Yes. She could not contain her joy. She could not even pretend to be sad. She was like, yes. I looked at her. I was like, amen. And this is a Christian. Blessed are the peacemakers. When you are called into a meeting like that, keep your personal thoughts to yourself. All you are there for is to be a peacemaker. Resolve that conflict. After you have resolved it and things are now back to normal, you can now call the other person and say, okay, we have resolved this. Change your ways. Don't do this. We observe you do this, but we've settled this matter. But change your ways. That's the sensible thing to do. Not stand there and be saying, no, Pastor should not forgive her. This is a true story. This woman, she's older than me. Pastor should not forgive her. No, we should not beg Pastor. Pastor should not forgive her. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Wherever you go, don't go and cause trouble. Don't go and be the cause of conflict. Be a peacemaker, not a peace breaker. You scatter the whole place. Once you get to that place, you scatter everything. You say, no, they should not resolve this matter. No, they should not forgive each other. Let them fight. That's not good. That means you're a child of the devil. That's what it means. Because if a peacemaker is a child of God, a conflict maker is a child of the devil. And the devil is your father, you know. So this is what Jesus is saying. When I was in secondary school, a classmate's sister-in-law, her brother's wife, she came to the school to meet with the principal to report that my classmate. She said the classmate is making her life hell. She's not enjoying her husband's home, and she does not know what she has done to that girl. She wants the principal to resolve it. You know, she said they were once friends. They were very close. Even it was because of her she married the brother. And now all of a sudden she's making her life terrible. She's not enjoying her marriage. So the principal called the girl out of class. I was in secondary school, in my school. So she went to the principal's office. So the principal was asking, what's going on between two of you? Let's resolve this matter. They both started yelling at each other, and they had a common denominator, a common name kept on coming up. The classmate will say, yeah, you said this to Jane Doe. The sister-in-law will say, and you said that to Jane Doe. And then Jane Doe said, and Jane Doe said, and the principal said, who is Jane Doe? She was the house girl in the home. They brought her from the village to come and help in the home. This house girl had been going to my classmate, whispering things. Your brother's wife said this. This house girl will go to the brother's wife. Your husband's sister said this. This same house girl. Then both of them came to a realization that she was the one causing trouble in the home, framing stuff, saying things that never happened. So immediately they found that they both hugged each other in the principal's office. Both were sobbing. Both were saying, forgive me. You know, they resolved it. Immediately the woman got home. She sent the house girl packing, told her to go back to the village where she came from. You see, so the principal, he was a conflict resolutioner, if that's a word. So he tried to resolve that conflict, and he succeeded. The house girl, she was a troublemaker, you know, just there to scatter this family. Don't be like that. Don't be the one to go and scatter a place. Even if you don't want two of them to get together, then keep quiet. Don't apologize, don't beg, don't say nothing. Just shut up and sit down there and don't say anything. But instead of you to be saying, no, don't forgive, then that's wrong. You're not a child of God. And I hope if you are watching this video, that sister, that you have repented and you won't do that again, because I don't know what you gained from it. So anyway, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. And the final beatitude, blessed are they that suffer persecution for justice' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So this means to suffer because of your belief, because of your religion, you know, because of what you believe in. You remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They refused to bow before the statue. They were thrown into the fiery furnace, but God rescued them. That they were persecuted because of their faith, because of their belief. They said, I will not do it. And that was it. The disciples, they suffered a lot. They were persecuted. Paul, he was beheaded. Peter was crucified upside down. Some of the prophets, they were killed, they were stoned, they were sawn into two. You know, they faced a lot of persecution. Jesus said, this is the kingdom of heaven. I watched the film when I was young, Quo Vadis. Emperor Nero, he set the city on fire and decided to blame it on the Christians because it was a new religion. They said they're strange people. And he said the Christians burnt down Rome. So they captured all the Christians, brought them into the arena, and people sat around as if they're watching a show, a play, a drama. And they brought out the lions. And the lions were killing these Christians and eating them, and people watching were baying for their blood, laughing, but they refused to reject their faith. They refused to denounce Jesus. If they had done, they would have been saved, but they refused. They went into the arena singing. They were singing while they were being killed. So blessed are they that suffer persecution for justice sake. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And you remember those days also, the Christians, they will catch them and say, they should say, Caesar is Lord, Caesar Curious. That's all they have to say. And they will refuse. And they will say, no, Jesus is Lord, Lysis Curious. And then they will be killed. Anybody who says, Caesar Curious, that Caesar is Lord, will be saved. If you say, Lysis Curious, Jesus is Lord, you'll be killed. Blessed are they that suffer persecution. Many years ago, I watched a film about Idi Amin. And in that film, he told a judge to sentence a man to prison or death. And this judge saw that that man was innocent. And he kept on saying, but he hasn't done anything. He can't do that. And in the film, Idi Amin said, sentence him to death or prison or whatever. But the judge did not do that and set the man free, that he's free to go. And the judge was caught and he was killed. You see, because he didn't want to do an injustice. This was his conviction that this man was innocent. Why should he send him to death or to jail? But he paid with it with his life. Blessed are they who suffer persecution for justice sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Remember, Jesus said, if you deny me, I will deny you before my Father in heaven. So he said he hasn't come to bring peace. He's come to bring wars. They will hand us over. If you see, Christians are always persecuted. There are some countries where people cannot be a Christian without being killed. They have to pray with their eyes open as if they're just having a normal conversation. They cannot be caught with a Bible. They cannot gather together as a church. They are persecuted and they are marginalized in those countries, but they haven't given up their faith. They are still Christians. However, they sneak in. If they're going to a place to meet, they go in one by one. They can't go in as a group because it will raise suspicion. They go in one by one. They know if they are caught, they might be killed or jailed, but they still do it and they gather together and they have fellowship together. And we are in a free country where we can worship freely and we rarely go to church. We just use our Sundays for something else, staying at home, watching Colombo, going to the pub to have a drink. Let's fellowship together. Don't let us forsake each other. So blessed are they that suffer persecution for justice sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And this ends the Beatitudes. Thanks for watching. God bless you.